or you can also choose to purchase it from yourself. So here in this screen, the important factor is this IC, item category. L means stock item, N means non-stock. So here you can see L is stock item, L, and then you have N as non-stock. These are the two most common which we use. We can use project stock, consignment stock as well. But for our client, we use stock and non-stock, L and N. And 90% of the industry, you will see only these two being used, item category. So if I select a stock item, it will create a reservation. If I select N, non-stock, it will create a purchase requisition. It goes for purchasing. So for non-stock, let's say text item, I'm purchasing a text item with 2 quantity. Operation 10. Again, it asked me for purchasing information. You see, price, material group and all. GL. I don't have a GL. I'll use the same GL.
Pratik, I think for the external services, we will have tomorrow session in more detail.
I will not process it, but I was just showing that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have planned a internal labor ZM01 and an external labor PM03, PM01 and PM03. Similarly, for component, we have added a stock item and a non-stock item. Now there can be other planning. Again, if you remember yesterday, Abdul told you about the task list. So it is a master data which is having set of operations and components required. So if we assign the task list to the order, it can also copy everything here automatically. So the planner need not add it manually later on. So this we will show you later. Similarly, we can also assign a PRT document. I mean, the DMS documents here, which is again a key field where this information is again required for the laborers to execute the work. It can be documents related to engineering drawings or your equipment, PRT or anything. So we can assign documents here. And if you want to assign a PRT, production resource tool, so you can assign a PRT here. It's like the instrument which will be used. It will not be consumed. It's a tool which will be used for maintenance. So issued from store and later on returning it back. So you can assign production resource tools. So this is the planning work. And once the planning is done, I'll just save it. If I come back to the cost, system has calculated the internal material. I think there is some issue, but ideally it should have shown you 4 different value categories here: internal material, external material, internal labor and external labor. Internal labor, I think we have not mentioned here. I think it's not assigned to the work center. But still, like if we have all the data entered, system would rightly calculate the total planning cost. So you can see the plan cost here, which is not actual right now, but it is just in the planning phase. Right? So for each type of material what we added and services, the plan cost will be calculated based on which the maintenance manager or someone can compare this with the annual budget what we have, and he can select to release it or reject it. And also we saw there was a functionality for print in process, right? Put in process. So if we click this, it will release the work order, it will print the work order, and it will save the work order. Three functions happen together with this particular one click. But we can also do it manually, one by one. We can release it, we can print it, and we can save it. So I'll just release it manually. So our order is now in the status released. And again, this is important. You can see here material shortage. What is the meaning? Can anyone tell me?
Maybe in the stock or inventory, that quantity won't be available.
Right. So I showed you that, right? We required two quantity of this material and the stock of this material is not available. So it's a material shortage. So this all information is useful and the person can, I mean, fill the stock and then he can execute the work order later on. And similarly, again, let's assume that we have all the required materials available and now we have to schedule the work order. So the person, the scheduler will select the operation. He can go to dates. He can specify the dates where, I mean, let's say I want to start this order on Monday. So today is 26. I want to start it on 2nd, right? And I want it to end on 3rd or 4th. So I'm saying that I want to start this order on 2nd because my labors are not available and I want to end it on 4th. So if I do that, in the header, you will see the basic start date and finish date of the order has changed. And this is the scheduled start and scheduled finish of the order.
Yeah.
So scheduler basically is assigning when the operation will be performed and by whom. So we have just mentioned the dates here. We can also mention that who will perform the particular task. Now we said we need two person, right? So we cannot assign two person in one field. So this is the capacity tab here where we can assign the person with dates and time when he will be performing the work based on their availability. Simple, right? And we have requirement profile, job position. This is related to your if the person is qualified. I mean, the planner will assign the the required skills and expertise level to perform this particular task. This is HR integration. And based on this, the scheduler will assign relevant person to this particular operation. I hope it's clear till now.
Yeah, Pratik, Kiran here maybe. Have a query. So this particular scheduling part of the work order is possible only after releasing the order or before that also we can schedule?
We can do that, but I mean, it makes no sense. It's always like if we have the approved work order, only then the scheduler will schedule it, right? If it is not approved, but still we are entering the dates and everything, the persons and all, but there is a chance that order gets rejected later on, right? So SAP will not restrict you from doing that, but in a general process way, it comes ideally after releasing the work order once it is approved.
Right, right. So yeah, there is business perspective, but I asked for the system one.
Right. System will not restrict you.
Right.
Okay. And then you can see the relationships where you can assign relationship between operation that I want the operation 10 to be completed before the second starts. Or I want operation 1 and 2 to start together. So these are relationships which we can create between operations. Finish, 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 start, finish, finish is I want two operation to finish at the same time. So these are relationships we can create among operations. So here I said that I want to finish the two operations together, operation 10 and 20. Okay, so it will have an impact on the dates. So the first operation will take 4 hours, right? So now you see the date is changed to third. But because we have added that must start and must end, that's why it's scheduled like this. But ideally, I mean, if we have multiple operation and we want to finish two operation at the same time, the start and end dates of each operation will be calculated accordingly, and it will be assigned here. And then you can also have a Gantt view. So consider we have hundreds of operation. You can have each operation visible here. So these are good features where you can, I mean, see the orders and relationships and restrictions in a single view, dashboard kind of thing. So scheduling is done, planning was done, it is approved. Now the next part is just the order execution. So the person we have taken the work order printout. So I'll show you that. So this is again shop paper, which is custom shop paper which we have created. So we can take the work order printout. Once the shop paper is printed, we'll distribute it to the technicians. The system is a bit slow. So this is again just a bit closed. Okay, so the next step is to just confirm the time that the labor has performed the work from this date and this time. And they can just do the confirmation, which will be reviewed by the supervisor, and he can choose to close the work order or not based on that. So let's come back to the slide. So this is the time confirmation which comes after execution. So work is done. Our scheduling is done. The work execution is done. Now after execution, the laborers will enter their time. Similar to my day, what we feel, right? We work for one day, 9 hours. So similarly, for each work what we do against WBS, we are entering our time. So similarly, this time confirmation, the laborers are confirming that for this particular work order, I have already worked for 4 hours. And this is again important because it will be a cost on the order, right? That I needed one person to work with rate of 100. So I spent 400 USD on this particular order for internal labors. It's just a controlling document. So time confirmation, there are various ways we can do individual entry, like one by one. We can do a collective entry. Let's say I am responsible for doing time confirmation of 20 labors. So I can just have an Excel and upload it and do the time confirmation together. So these are options. And final and partial, this is important because let's say I did 50% of the work today and 50% I'll do it tomorrow. So when entering a timesheet today, I'll fill 2 hours and I'll not do a final confirmation. This would mean that there is still work pending on that operation, but I'm just entering my time for today. So these are time confirmations. Then technical closure, it's just closing the work order after supervisor confirms that the work is done. Now, technical completion means that all the technical work is completed, but financially, if we have, outstanding finances on our order, we need to settle the work order. Settling is transferring the cost from order to cost center. My son just woke up, so you are hearing his voice. But technical completion is like confirming that the technical work is done. We can settle the cost later on, which would mean transferring the cost from order to the cost center, and then we do a business closure. So now this is just a repetition. So the notification was created, it was put in process, and then it was converted into order. We planned activities, we released the work order, then scheduling was done, then time confirmation, technical completion, completion of notification happens automatically with technical completion. Then we settle and business closure. So that is a full cycle of any maintenance flow. It's not only breakdown, but it's applicable for everything except refurbishment and condition preventive. But for most of the general process, this is the flow which takes place. Till now, it's clear, right, for everyone? If you understand this process, all the process what we will take care in subsequent sessions will be easy to understand.
Pratik, this is Evangeline. So I have a question. So in the planning order, so the the manual persons that we assign. So does that
Mhm.
refer to work center?
Yes.
Okay. And
So
in the notification and in the notification phase, when we create a notification, so the documents which we attach, does it get inherited in the planning part?
yes, good
Okay.
question. It comes automatically to our work order as well. Anyone, any other doubt?
Uh, uh, so in the planning, we are adding that the parts and all right with quantity.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
see, based on that notification detail, we are just planning that. But in real time, so if a maintenance team goes into that and see diagnose the issue, and if they find the issue requires more spare parts or more service related things, then we can update anytime or the planning.
Yes. We can update it here, but in reality, what happens? I can directly do a goods issue against this order, right? Even if the components are not planned here. So if I
Okay.
go to Migo, I think everybody is aware of Migo, right?
Yep.
So if I do a goods issue against order, so this is the planned material. But in case I want to
Okay.
add any unplanned material, we can go
Mhm.
ahead and add here, right? Second.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are actually important, and this is a very frequent scenario, right?
Yeah.
Because my planning cannot be 100% correct every time.
Mhm.
So these are called as unplanned materials. Rather than adding it on the order, we can directly issue it here, so that person will know what was planned and what was not planned. What is the accuracy of my planning?
Okay.
So this is again a good scenario. Basically, we can directly post a unplanned material also from the work order, which goes as unplanned issue.
Okay.
Okay.
But just want to add here. So this basically the case only applicable in case of breakdown. For the corrective or any other things, basically we are expecting, I mean to say it's a standard understanding is that the
Yeah.
planner has to plan everything there in the maintenance order. Okay.
Yeah.
And we are not suggesting any users that you just go by this way. Okay. Because what's happening here when they're issuing directly the material on maintenance orders, so we won't see the plan cost there in maintenance order. And directly goes to the actual one. Okay.
Okay.
So it's a whether it's ethical, non-ethical, that's a different thing. But uh, in
Best
very
practice.
rare cases,
Not a best
yeah. So yeah, it is a practical things, right? So it's depend on the users. We are giving them liberty to choose what to do. Okay, but we are not suggesting by our own way that you just go by this way.
So basically, this variance is also important because if I have a variance in my planning and actuals, which means my planning was not done correctly, right? But if I go ahead and add it on my order directly and I don't see any variance in my plan and actual, then it's not correct, I think. So it's important message that my planning was incorrect and I need to correct my planning in future. And this is how we improve, right? How we
Yeah.
use SAP and we keep on improving with time.
Okay.
So, but SAP will not restrict you with anything. You can add it on the work order directly, or you can do a unplanned goods issue directly from Migo. Okay. So now, similar to corrective maintenance breakdown, we have the
Yeah,
same
Pratik,
steps.
sorry to stop you here maybe. So Kiran here, maybe I'm from EHS background. I worked on PM as a business owner, but when you explained regarding the Migo and all, so I have no idea. Maybe I have not done that before. So if there are any detailed information which is required to know in this, please let me know.
Yeah. So this Migo is a transaction for warehouse stores.
Right.
This will not be plant maintenance specific. So if you want to perform any goods issue, I mean, I want to take out any material from store, good receipt. This is in reference to the store. Store is receiving something. So this is a good receipt. If vendor is delivering some spare parts and I want to keep it in store, they can do goods receipt. They can remove from store qualities. So these are all the store related process which can happen in Migo.
Okay.
Okay. And whenever we create any order for spare part, we have a reservation. I mean, my component is available in store and I am reserving it for myself. Okay, so somebody else, if needs the same component, they can see that this particular material is still available in stock. I have not consumed it, but it is not, I mean, it's not a hard stop, but it will show you that there is a reservation by Pratik on the same component. So in case you need it emergency, so I can choose to give it to you. But again, this is a information that the same component is required. And similarly, this information is important for purchasing team that the required stock is not available. So they have to work on making the adequate quantity available in the stores. So all those planning activities goes on with PM.
And one thing I'd like to add it here, Pratik. So this is basically, guys, integration of, you can say, that plant maintenance module with the module.
Yes.
Okay, so this is not a task for the maintenance planner or the technician. This is basically with the purchasing team. Okay, or if we can say in SAP terms, so it will be a task for this material management team. Okay, so they'll be taking care of. But how the means this MRP will trigger and how this purchase requisition will get triggered, from purchase requisition the PO will get triggered. So this is the kind of integration between PM and MM. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Namit, and thanks, Supriya. I think we are out of the time today. Uh, so for I think Pratik, for the corrective also we have said, right? For the services
I
part, I think
think
we'll
corrective is very similar. We will share the
yeah,
slides and there is no difference.
right.
Just
So
that we will not do that breakdown checkbox in the work order. I mean the notification. Rest we will share you the slides and it is very same to what we did today. So if I show you the notification again, I'll just take 1 minute, Abdul. Uh, so in this notification, what we created in our first step, right? So if you don't do this breakdown checkbox, then 99% of the process remains same for corrective as well. So same notification, converting it into order, planning, approving, and scheduling, closing, everything is same. No difference. But your notification type, order type can be changed to understand, like in future, that what is the total number of corrective maintenance we did, what is total breakdown we did, like that.
So, Pratik, I know that 5 minutes over, just one question other than Pratik. So, you define this required start date and a required end date for this notification, and order is generated for this number, and uh, you went for this order from this notification, right? So, why this start date and end date similar will not come in order? It is config pending or anything need to be do here?
So you are talking about this start date, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So, because
So this
I
is
saw that you defined this work order in different dates. So it is order is already generated. So why
yes.
you define? Yeah.
When order was generated, it was having the same date as notification date. But
But it is
just to
different.
show you the scheduling, that
Mhm.
people wanted it to correct it by today, but my labors are not available today. So
Okay.
earliest I can start my work on 2nd and complete it by 3rd of June.
Mhm.
So later on, these dates was changed and adjusted. But initially, it will copy the date from notification only.
Mhm. Okay, okay.
Okay.
And then, Sudipta, if you see from this real-time scenario, right? So let's say the example of this corrective scenario, right? So corrective is what that if suppose from some machine, right, some sound is coming. So what the technician will think that, okay, in future, it may possible that that particular machine, the breakdown can happen. Okay, so in order to prevent that breakdown, what we'll do, we'll take a corrective action. So that is this corrective scenario. Okay, so that means at the same time you will not go and do the repair, right? You will plan after one week or after 10 days that okay, fine, after 10 days this machine will be idle and we'll go and do the maintenance. So that breakdown should not happen. So in that case, we'll have to go and change these dates.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And there is one more thing is that you can club a multiple notifications of same equipment or function location in single work order. Okay, so that is also the one of the reason. Okay, so there is a scope you can add, because what's happening for same equipment, different people are creating a different notifications, right? And there might be for a different problem even. So you can club all together and you can create a single maintenance order for it. Okay, and at single time you can do the scheduling of that particular maintenance order. You can take your time. I mean to say the employee person, maintenance employee crew would take in their own time and accordingly they will schedule it. Okay, so that's why these dates are getting differ every time, and it's purely depend upon the operations what we are seeing over there. So the operations or whatever we would be put there, accordingly the end date would get on changing. Okay.
This date is a very big concept and it will take time.
Yeah, yeah, because these days are purely in I mean to say in the next process. Yesterday I just told you, right? The resource scheduling is one of the newest part which is coming. So these dates are more and more important there. Okay.
Pratik,
Anyway,
We can spend full 1.5 hour
yeah, yeah.
explaining
So
it.
yeah,
yeah,
Pratik,
so
last question
topic.
maybe.
Okay.
One
Hmm.
last question on this
Yeah.
notification part. So I was a business user in when maybe 10 years before on PM. So that time also I had this query, and now also I'm asking this query. Maybe it's a stupid question, maybe a silly one, but I would like to get answer for that. So why this notification is required, where we are doing everything in this particular work order, we are settling, we are getting the material in the work order, we are planning over there, scheduling over there. So this notification, how does it help? It will notify anyone? So
Yes,
maybe
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Tell me,
basically, you want to take the question, Pratik? Yeah, please go
yeah,
ahead.
Tell me, like, if consider a very big industry, there are different departments, right? Production department, maintenance department, finance department, HR. Now you need some tool where how will you tell calling is not a viable option, right? You need a standard system tool where you can intimate departments
Mhm.
if you have any work in hand. So production department can go to maintenance department using notification and it's recorded, right?
Right.
Now nobody will tell me in future that I called you that I have this problem and you started on this after 10 days. So how will you prove that you informed me 10 days back? I will say no, you informed me today. So I'll start my work today. So everything is recorded. So somebody who is raising a notification can always complain. So when you raise a complaint ID, right, you can also escalate your issues, right? If they confirmed you that it will complete in 2 days and it's taking more than what's required. So it's a questionable thing. So people can track your notification status and closure, required end date. Based on that, like, I mean, it's a recorded information in SAP with which you can track your request.
Okay.
It's important.
And one more thing, Kiran, that see, if you remember in notification, we're maintaining a lot of catalog details, right? That what is the object part, what is the damage code, what is the cause behind this, what are the tasks that we have implemented, what are the activities that we did. So if you'll see from the real time perspective, they are taking a lot of data from these things and they are doing their analysis and they have defined a lot many KPIs there based out of that one. Okay, so in that case also if we have the notification document in our system, so it will help them a lot in doing their analysis and KPIs.
Okay, fine. Thanks, Namit and Pratik. Maybe I will go through that. Maybe I will check for the mail notification once a notification is created. Because I remember whenever I was in workshop or whenever I was in instrument workshop or electric workshop or even in the plant, we used to take the printout of the notification and the work order, give it to them, and they were not aware of the number and the work orders. So that's the process which we were having in the plant. So I will see whether mail notification can also be sent, right, when the notification is created based on the
Yeah.
planner group or okay.
So there, the current, I mean, it's earlier those provisions were not there, but we have now the provision that you can directly send a mail from note. Once you create the notifications, mail also would getting triggered through a flow.
Yes,
To the
yes,
recipients. Okay,
through workflow.
okay, thanks.
Okay, I think we're out of time, but it's fine. Okay, so tomorrow we'll again start with the new sessions where we'll be covering this external services and one more topic, that is refurbishment process. But guys, whatever we learned today is very basic and it is required for almost all the processes in plant maintenance. Okay, and that's why I'm just telling you, if uh, just go through these processes. Okay, you find the documents there. Okay, and tomorrow in the when we start this session, we'll first go with the question answers. Okay, so basically we'll ask you the questions. You should be ready with the answers. If any doubts or anything would be there, so we'll be clear there, and then we'll start with the next topics. Okay, yeah, then thank you very much, Pratik, Namit, and all of you for joining these sessions. So we'll meet tomorrow with the same time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you all.
Thank you all.